Hello, I'm Chief Strazzo of the Brunswick Hills Township Fire Department. Thank you for watching this episode of Fire Alarm, where we will go over our fire suppression and rescue capabilities. This is Fire Alarm.
Hey guys, and welcome to Brunswick Area Television. My name's Nick DeSalvo, and I'm going to go over our engine today. I'm from Brunswick Hills Fire Department. I've been here about 8 years, and today we're going to talk a little bit about our engine and what we have. So this is a 2015 Sutphin. This truck holds 1,000 gallons of water. It has a 1,500 GPM pump on it. It can respond to a multitude of emergencies, and we'll go through some of that here today. This is our pump panel here. This is the cockpit, so to speak, of where we do our work. This is an engineer's role, so whoever's driving the engine will generally come over here and they'll be the engineer of this. So this is their cockpit. Moving on to this next area, this is the engineer compartment. This is where we have all of our fittings, nozzles, wheel chocks, and some other items that we have in here. These are all essential for fireground success. So in this compartment here, we have chainsaws. Sometimes we have to vertically ventilate on some house fires that we have, but there's also other reasons that we would use chainsaws. If we have to remove a tree from a roadway, would be another example of why we would use those. In this compartment, we have a bunch of tools. As you can see, everybody's favorite tool, the axe. We have an axe, flat-headed axe, pick-head axe, all used for different reasons. We have a Halligan, crowbar, and other items that we might use. We have a little hook to pull ceiling because we have to overhaul when we're in fires and check for extension. So in the rear of the truck, we have a lot of things. Most importantly, we have large diameter hose. So in areas in the township, we have some places where we need a large amount of large diameter hose. And on this truck, we carry 1,200 feet of LDH. This would be used to hook up the hydrants, and sometimes we have to relay that much hose to reach our destination. So in here we have 1,200 feet of LDH, and on the right side of the truck we have 600 feet of 2.5-inch hose. That is a dry lay, not pre-connect. On the back here in this roll-up compartment, this is where our hydrant bag is, and we also have a small donut roll that we would need if we have a short connect to hydrants in the areas that do have hydrants. Coming around the other side of the truck, so like I said, this truck can respond to a lot of different emergencies, one of which is car accidents. So in this compartment here, we have everybody's favorite tool, the jaws of life. This is the generator to run that, and we have the jaws of life in there. It's actually a combi tool to cutters and spreaders. And then we have a couple extinguishers there, water and dry chem. In this compartment here, we have our RIT pack. On all fire scenes, we need to establish a RIT team. And what a RIT team is we have a 2-in, 2-out rule. And anybody on the outside, we need a crew ready to go to save and rescue us if need be. So this is the pack for that. And then we have a high-rise pack. This carries 150 feet of 1 3/4 with a nozzle on it. And we have, I'm a rope tech, so I kind of designed a bag with a 3-to-1 ratio. So this is more for like low angle incline rescues if we need to. This has a 3-to-1 ratio. We call it a Z-drag in this bag here with some other equipment with it. One of the most important things that we have on this truck is our personnel. So as Firefighter Murray gets off the truck, everything that he has on his person is what he would need on a fire ground. And for those that are curious, and I know a lot of people are, the cost of this equipment is roughly $20,000 of what he's wearing on his person right now. The radio is important for communication on a fire ground. We have a thermal imaging camera on him so that we can see inside of a fire. He has his mask, SCBA, and gear. Gear is approximately $4,000 along with all the other accessories. So like I said, we have a lot of equipment on this truck, but one of the most important things is our personnel and what they're wearing to make sure that they're protected on a fire. So on the topic of cost, we went over a lot of the equipment on this engine. This engine was purchased in 2015 for approximately $450,000. And today, this engine made the same way would cost close to $1 million. So moving on to our newest member of the Brunswick Hills Township Fire Department is our tanker. We purchased this in 2025. It holds 2,068 gallons of water on it. It also has a 1,500 GPM hail pump on it. It's designed for 2 people, and a lot of times this is meant for tanker shuttles in areas in which we don't carry water, or for mutual aiding areas around us that also don't have hydrants, that we're auto aid for Columbia, for example, to bring this to it. So areas that don't have a lot of water, this is perfect for that. And one other thing that is important that a lot of people don't think about is 71. We do carry cover a large stretch of 71, and this would be perfect for car fires on the highway where there's no hydrants. So we have a few pieces of equipment on this truck. Now this truck only carries 2 people on it, so we have 2 SCBA packs. This would be an area where they would put their gear. And sometimes we do go to work when we're on this truck. It just doesn't have the same amount of tool capability that the engine does, but it still has plenty of capability. In this compartment here, we have some of the similar tools that we saw on the engine. We have some cones, caution tape, hose tools, hydrant wrenches, etc. Moving over here, pump panel. This would be an area where we would go to find a hydrant, refill, or sometimes draft off of a source that we can get water from. Take that water, transport it to an area that needs water, pump it to an engine, and so that they can fight a fire. One of the other things that this thing is capable of doing is fighting fire. We have 2 inch and 3/4 pre-connects here. We also have 200 feet of 2.5 inch that is dry laid, not pre-connect. We have ladders. We have a 35-foot ladder on here. We also have a roof ladder. And you can see up there is a hard suction tool, and we have an attic ladder as well. Hard suction hose, that's what we use to draft off of.
Perhaps you recognize me from my last episode of Bat TV's Fire Alarm. Well, I'm here again to really do a little bit more introduction of myself. My name is Mike Eberl, and not only do I work here in Brunswick Hills Township, but I also grew up in the city of Brunswick. Graduated from high school in 1990. I left for the military and joined the Air Force. Right after high school, spent my whole adult life traveling the world doing cool stuff with the military. I retired after 23 years, came back looking for a job, and I realized that I was miserable looking for those high-paying jobs that would have been living me in corporate America. I'm not a suit and tie kind of guy. I like helping people. So I decided to go to medic school, and while I was in medic school, I got to do some ride time with the fire departments around town as part of my clinical hours, and I realized that there was the brotherhood that I was missing after being in the military for so long. So here I am, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. I have a bachelor's degree from Ohio University in criminal justice, so it really applies as a firefighter. I'm just kidding, not really. But I also have a master's degree from Villanova in human resource development. Again, really working on my people skills. And like I said, I just absolutely love serving people, love helping the public, and that's what I believe I was put on this planet to do, is to help out. And I'm over the moon with the fact that I get to be in this job and serving the township of Brunswick Hills.
One of the things that Nick addressed during the tour of the engine was our most valuable resource, our personnel. Oftentimes, as fire chief, I get questions from residents such as, how many firefighters does it take to put out a house fire? Or, why are there so many fire trucks that show up when there is a house fire? To answer that question, the National Fire Protection Association says that roughly 15 firefighters are needed at a residential structure fire. You need a crew for the initial fire suppression, a backup crew for that fire suppression crew, a search crew, a ventilation crew, and as Nick talked about, a rescue crew to be on deck or available if a firefighter becomes hurt or injured. So when you look at our daily staffing of 3 personnel actually in the fire station and us wanting to get to that number of 15, we rely upon mutual aid from all of our surrounding municipalities to get to that number of 15.
Hi there, this is Fire Inspector Tom again. A lot of the kids go by Firefighter Tom at Safety Town not too long ago. But today we're going to talk about fire extinguishers and the importance to have those at home. So number one cause of fires in a home are cooking fires. So if that's the number one cause, then we want to have the number one way to put it out, which is either a fire extinguisher. This is more of a commercial grade, but would be appropriate for your utility room, your garage. And then we have a small one right here that would be good for around the kitchen underneath the sink. But remember, these a couple key things with the extinguisher. If you have a gauge on your fire extinguisher, you want to make sure it's in the green. You should have a tag on it to lock this pin. And the way we'll use this in a case of emergency, we would pull this pin, we would aim the nozzle at the base of the fire, or if it was on your stovetop, at the base of the fire in the pan, and we would want to squeeze the trigger and sweep back and forth. And they say that is called pass. Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep the hose back and forth. Remember, once again, number one cause of fires in the house is cooking. Number one way to put them out is right here, fire extinguisher.
Hello, my name is Firefighter Mayo with the Brunswick Township Fire Department. The training you're about to see involves some of the crucial tasks that needs to be done on the fire ground as soon as possible and as efficient as possible. These tasks include getting a fire hydrant so you can get water to the fire engine, getting the hose deployed in a timely manner, and get to the fire as quick as possible. We do this training frequently to keep our skills sharp so when we respond to the emergency of a fire, we are well prepared and ready to handle it.
My name is Ron Wetterman. We live, this is my wife Patricia. We live in Brunswick Hills over on Substation Road. Brunswick Hills Fire Station and their med unit came to our house within 5 minutes of a call to 911. The fire department entered the home and immediately started taking over CPR and gave her a shot of Narcan to help bring her around from the effects of a accidental dose of fentanyl that she received at my son-in-law's home, where people were cleaning out some debris in the basement where a drug addict had lived in his house for a while. A package that she picked up evidently was covered with fentanyl dust, and she got a whiff of that dust.
And as soon as I got a whiff of the powder, I knew I was in trouble.
As soon as we got home, she kind of collapsed on the floor, and I got a hold of 911, and they taught me to do CPR from there. Their immediate response to her not breathing was to take their fist and pound right on the center of her chest.
I felt the rescue squad people come in and hit my chest. I vaguely remember them telling me I had to breathe, and it took them 3 times to revive me. Thank goodness for their experience and their training that they've had.
That brought a great big gulp of air from her, and they started getting a heartbeat again.
Got me up to where I could stand up and loaded me in the squad car and started the trip down to Southwest Hospital. In the squad car, with their experience, they kept me alive and kept me talking so I would stay coherent and awake. And when we got to the hospital, they took care of all the admittance and the transference and what had happened. And I actually owe my life to the squad car.
Absolutely. Yep.
And the people in it.
Yep.
There were 3 people involved, a driver and a talk person, what they call the person that keeps you alive, and the one that was monitoring the vitals. And thanks to the squad and their expertise, I'm alive today.
And I also want to thank the people at 911 dispatch for teaching me how to do CPR over the phone. And I'm not going to say I saved her life by any means, but I at least kept the blood flowing until the squad could get there. And I desperately thank them for that.
The follow-up from the squad told us to get in touch with Hope Community and that they could help me with any future problems that I might have with wanting to go back on the drugs, which was my main concern. And Hope Community has a very good program, and we would like to remind people that August is Overdose Awareness Day, and Brunswick Hills Fire Department helps with that.
Yeah, we can't say enough about our fire department. We deeply love all the things that they do for the community.
Thank you for joining us and watching this episode of Fire Alarm. Join us next time when we discuss fire prevention, emergency preparedness, and give you some safety tips you can use at home.
Thank you for watching Fire Alarm. The next episode will be available in 2 weeks.